You know what I've always found funny? I've always found it funny how people say there's no such thing as race, at least in terms of black and white and Hispanic and Asian and so forth, right? They always say it's only the human race. There's only the human race. There's no such thing as the white race, the black race, the Hispanic race, and ethnicity, whatever you want to call it. It's just the human race. And again, it's so silly to me because, that's just so not true. Race is a very real thing. There's only one human species. One human species. Now, within that species, or amongst that species, whatever you want to call it, there are many races. There's black, there's white, there's Hispanic, there's Asian, there's this and that, right? But to say there's no such thing as race is ridiculous. Human is a species. There is only the human species. No different than any other animal species, right? I mean, for example, take dogs. Dogs. Are we going to say, oh, there's no such thing as a pit bull or we're going to say there's no such thing as breeds, dog breeds, right? There's no such thing as a pit bull or a Rottweiler or a poodle and things like that. Come on, man. Dogs is a species, and within that species, you have different breeds. No different than cats, right? Different types of cats, different types of birds, right? So the same thing goes for humans. So when I hear people say there's no such thing as, the race and this like that, come on, dude. And I get it. And I'm probably irritating a lot of radical liberals and hardcore feminists and whatever by saying this, because, and I get it. It stems from a noble place, right? When people say things like, oh, I don't see color, and they're trying to rise above all of the terrible things that have been done in the name of racism and feeling superior to one based on X, Y, and Z, and particularly things like race. But when I hear that, it's so silly, man. Every day there's a dichotomy of stuff. Not all humans. If you look at dogs, man, not all dogs act the same. Not all dogs look the same. Yeah, they're all classified as dogs, but they are not all the same. Not all potato chips are the same. Not all potato chips look the same. Not all potato chips taste the same. So why does everyone insist that humans have to be the same as well? When they're so obvious. They're so obvious that they're not the same, man. I don't get it. I don't get it, man. Like I said, I understand this, it all comes from a good place, right? Usually, some people not so much. Some people are just playing this game, this identity politics bullshit. A lot of times people like to say, oh, I don't see color, even though they do, but they don't see color when it's convenient not to see color, and then they see color when it's convenient to see color. So this back and forth identity politics sort of thing. And now I look at it like this. Even if everyone was the same race, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, there was only one race, right? Let's just say it was all white people. Only white people exist. Let me ask you something. Do you honestly think all of the problems that go on in this world would just magically disappear? Well, let's just say it was nothing but black people on the planet. Do you honestly think war, bigotry, and this and X, Y, and Z is just going to stop? No, it's not going to stop. It's not going to stop, man. Because the nature of most human beings is to go to war over something. And this is off the record. I'm going to look at this and probably wish that I was looking directly into the camera, but I don't like doing that. I like to, see what's going on behind me and stuff. But maybe one day I'll start looking directly into the eye of the camera. But as for now, I'm going to just look where I'm looking. Like I said, if one race just existed and all the other races just magically disappeared, do you honestly think bigotry and the war and all these things that plague planet Earth will just magically disappear? No, because then it'll be over, who's shorter, who's taller, we can't pick on race because everyone looks the same. Everyone's the same race, so let's find something else. Who has blue eyes, who has green eyes, who has blonde hair, who has la. Or if it's just a whole bunch of black people, well, we'll just pick on whoever is shorter and whoever does hair is curlier than the other, whoever's lighter, people do it now, so I don't have to list off the various ways you can be an asshole to someone over how they look. You guys already know it goes on. But my point, you get my point here. It's not gonna stop, man. There were always, I get it. I keep repeating myself. I understand the motive behind trying to say there is only a human race. But the problem with that is there are some human beings out here. Some human beings, now I'm gonna look right at you. There are some human beings out here that do not want to get along. You ever met someone that it's like, no matter how hard you try, to get along with them, you go out of your way to show you come in peace. You're trying to show you're nice. You mean no harm, and they're just looking for a fight. They want to fight you. And the irony is, the more you show you come in peace and that you don't want a war or a fight, the more they want to fight you. The more they want to fight you, because there will always be people out here who simply do not want to get along. And it has nothing to do. Well, it does, but at the end of the day, the root of it is just wanting to go fight over something. If it's not race, is something else. All right. And even if if everyone looked exactly the same, right? If everyone looked exactly the same, then they'll just start nitpicking personalities, because at the end of the day, let's just say everyone looked exactly like me right now. Guess what? Everyone most likely is not going to act exactly like me. So then it'll be a matter of the loud people picking on the quiet people, or the aggressive people picking on the more peaceful people, So even if everyone looked the same, there's always going to be something you can pick at. Oh, the people that are not as good at math as these people, so let's pick on them because they're not smart. You could do that too. That's another way to pick on somebody and mess with somebody. Intelligence, right? There are so many ways to do it, So trying to say physical differences are not real, that really doesn't solve the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the internal, the soul. If your soul wants to fight, if your soul wants to harm someone, if your soul wants to torture someone, it's going to find an excuse to do it. All right, if it's not based on looks, it's going to be based on personality. I'm repeating myself like a broken record now, but a lot of lies and deceptions and just over around BS is repeated like a broken record. So the truth has to be repeated like a broken record. It has to. But I don't know. That's just my rant right now. I think nowadays it's more a cultural issue. More people are starting to make a distinction between culture rather than race. Now, obviously, when you talk culture, there will be some overlap in intertwining of racial matters, right? Because races are typically associated with certain cultures, but it's been proven that if you take a person of a different race and put them in a different context and subject them to that culture just pretty much from birth, they can pretty much behave and perform no different than anyone in the culture that they grew up in, So, I mean, some people, they want to argue, well, culture stems from genetic. There's a reason why certain cultures ended up behaving certain ways and why others didn't. I don't know. But what I do know is when you do subject someone to a different culture, 9 times out of 10, they can pretty much behave in a manner that is associated with most people of that culture. I'm starting to get tongue-tied. I got to wrap this up pretty soon, But I don't know. If you look at the word culture too, we always like to talk about generalizations, and you can't generalize, and like the reason people want to get over the whole racial thing because it leads to generalizations, and I get it. It's definitely a slippery slope. But when it comes to cultural behavior, you can generalize. If you think about the word culture pretty much means it's a norm. How do I break this down? How do I break it down? If a group of people does something over and over, right? That's a pattern, right? In other words, it's a general pattern. In other words, you can generalize. The point is, the word culture means generalization. I'm overthinking this now. And clearly, I'm getting confused by what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to just wrap this up right now. Race does exist. There is only one human species. And that's all I have to say. Good day.